Hey guys, and welcome to day 2 of my Inktober project. Now, before I really get started talking about today's piece, I wanted to mention that I am infinitely happier with the result of today's piece than I am with yesterday's piece. And this is solely based on techniques that I used to complete this piece. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, I had a bit of a panicky moment and I completely abandoned the plan I had initially made for the month. And so the result was naturally something unlike what I wanted. However, with today's piece, I switched to watercolor paper and used ink washes, mostly black. But I did add some accents with a Liquitex ink in muted pink, and the combination of those two colors created something I was very happy with. I was a little bit worried going into today's piece because the pen I was using, I had never actually used on watercolor paper. And the thing about using watercolor paper, cold press more specifically, is that the texture can be sort of rough on your pens. And this is something I've found specifically with microns and other fine liners in the past, is that it really forces them to grind away at the material of the pen itself. However, the pen I was using seemed to work very well on the paper, and I was able to get the variation in the line weight that I wanted without feeling like I was completely tearing my pen apart. I actually had a few other sketches prepared, but I was working on this sketch last night, and there was just something about it that I really liked. And I thought that it would be a good way to kind of hit restart, in a sense, because I was so frustrated with yesterday's piece. And if this had been my first day, I would be very happy with it. There is this little voice in the back of my head that's telling me to basically redo Inktober day 1, because if I continue in the same vein as this piece with the rest of my Inktober pieces, I'm just going to have one standout sore thumb. And I may end up doing that, but I haven't quite decided yet. However, looking a little closer at today's piece, I want to briefly discuss the story surrounding this figure. So the prompt that I used for this piece was teeming, and naturally I thought teeming with life, which is a very common phrase to use in situations like this. And I really enjoy drawing sort of more floral portraits, and it's a little in my comfort zone, but I did try to push the angle of the face as well as the mediums. I don't really use a lot of ink washes to create full pieces, so I was still stretching myself to a certain extent. And the story I have in mind for this woman in particular is that she has been through a lot in her life. And this struggle was part of her coming into her own, in a sense. In the context of the universe that I write within, there's quite a bit of magic and things of that nature, so I figured that these struggles would eventually lead her to find her powers. And it's kind of a parallel to life in general, I think, because we do get through struggles and we do come out of them stronger, even though it doesn't necessarily feel like it at the time. And of course, that's a very simplified, stripped down version of the story, but who knows, maybe I will do more with it in the future. So now that I've really kind of set the style for what the rest of my Inktober is likely going to resemble, I feel a lot more confident and excited going forward. Yesterday I felt very defeated. I felt as though there was no way I was going to be able to recover from the quote-unquote horrible first piece I had created. But this is why daily drawing habits are a good thing, because not everything that you create is going to be perfect. Not everything you create you're even going to like. But it's what you do with that. It's how you move forward based on your past experiences that form you into the artist that you are. So I hope you guys enjoyed this piece and hearing a little bit of the story behind it. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.